What is up, friends? I'm here today with my friend Vic Riffle, who is out. Am I saying your last name right?
You got it. Yeah.
That's always so scary, and I should check before we start talking. But
Nailed it though.
he is the resident know-it-all for Sunlighten Saunas, who is our newest sponsor. I'm so excited to get to collaborate and work with Sunlighten. I am a huge fan. I did a lot of research and found lots of people with lots of different saunas. Most of them with Sunlighten, and they are even bigger researchers than I. So it was an easy choice for me. But I know now they're getting more and more popular, from the smaller, like in-room saunas to the bigger saunas. And now there are places kind of offering the sauna experience. I prefer going into mine at my house. But I want to get into just kind of some information, inform people what is so great about infrared saunas if they haven't heard of them before, give some info about Sunlighten specifically, and just all the great benefits of using these saunas. So I would love kind of at first of all, I want to tell you guys all that I have the impulse believe 2%. If I had the space, I believed, to get like a 7%, I would have. But then, you know what? I take that back, because my husband's like, we should both be able to fit in it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be in there with anybody. Don't touch me. So I have the 2%. I'm really, really happy with it. It's incredibly comfortable for me, and my kids love it. So can you just explain kind of the main differences between this and the standard sweat sauna that so many people are accustomed to and have, likely been in, whether at the gym or at a resort or whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, talk about infrared. Of course, it's something that's a huge passion of mine. So luckily, saunas are just a really hot topic right now for the health. Everybody's using them. And infrared is not new, but it's new to a lot of people. So when we're thinking about the differences between traditional and infrared, I first kind of want to take a step back and glance over some of the pieces about infrared so that your audience can understand that, because it's understanding that infrared piece that's very important. So infrared is heat and light. It's invisible. So most people think about light and how you can see it, but the spectrum includes an invisible part, which is infrared. And even the word infrared, that's next to red on the spectrum. So it's just outside of the visible spectrum, and it's even divided into three wavelengths. We can talk about those more later. But with infrared, it feels good. I mean, it's such a thing that, imagine yourself on a spring day. It's cloudy. It's kind of nice outside, but it could be better. But all of a sudden, the clouds move and the sun shines through. Everybody has felt that. It's just something that you just feel, and you're like, this is awesome, because the sun is finally shining on you. That's infrared, and that's what we are able to bring in with our infrared saunas. And so comparing that to a traditional saunas rely on just hot static air. Traditional saunas do have amazing health benefits. I'm not going to say they're not good for you, because they are incredible. But it's just a fully different experience. You're going to be sweating. It's a hot, oppressive heat. Whereas with infrared, it's more enjoyable. It's enjoy it versus endure it. So you're able to sit in there a little bit longer. And as I spoke before, it's light. So you're getting the benefits of the warmth, but also the light. Each wavelength is absorbed into your body. If you think about it, our bodies are kind of like solar panels. We've essentially been designed to receive this light energy. So with energy in mind too, I think that's an important piece, is with traditional saunas, when you're in there, you get out just feeling drained. It's not like with infrared, how it's almost invigorating. And so those are just a couple of the main differences. But definitely the heat factor. You don't have to get nearly as hot to see the benefits, because with infrared, you're heating from within.
I love that. Yeah, and I can attest to it big time. My husband was always a big fan of just like typical sweat saunas, and I'm like, oh, it does not sound fun, but it's
Right.
relaxing. And then there's like the additional, we'll get into it, like the perks of what you can get in these saunas, but to make them almost just like your special little space. But
Yeah.
I would love, I mean, I think that at this point it would be great to just kind of explain that near, mid, far range infrared and then how it works, like within your different types of saunas. And then I believe like there's even light therapy within them. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the three wavelengths are near, mid, and far, like you just said, and each one is just a little bit different. The frequency near infrared is the shortest wavelength. It's also the hottest. And so it's fast. It's absorbed just basically skin level, much like, as you just said, light therapy. Red light and near infrared are right next to each other on the spectrums. They act very much the same. Mid-infrared is absorbed a little bit further into the body, and then far infrared, it's the longest wavelength and it's absorbed the deepest. For us at Sunlighten, most of our products are based, or actually all of our products are based around this far infrared, and it has a ton of health benefits. And again, as I said earlier too, it's absorbed and heats you from within. And it's that raise in core body temperature that creates that stress effect, the hormesis, that then tells your body, like, okay, I'm getting warm. I need to cool myself down. And as that's happening, different systems are going on in the body, and you're just getting stronger. It's basically a workout because nowadays, I mean, we're in this controlled environment at all times. It's inside on a hot sunny day, it's air conditioned. We're in 70 degrees, maybe even cooler. Or on these really cold days, we have heaters to keep us at the right temperature. So that's not really doing many good things for our health because our bodies get stagnant and just too comfortable. So that's where saunas come into play, and these wavelengths absorbing into your body. They really do a nice job of just getting your body kicked up a notch and activating some of those systems to strengthen your immunity and all sorts of things.
So there are a number of different programs in mine, and I'd love to kind of talk about some of those because I think some people just think, okay, you go in and you sweat and whatever happens, happens. But with with your saunas, you can kind of choose what's going to be best for you. And, I don't want to try and list them all myself, but I know that there's kind of like a heart health, there's a recovery, there's weight loss. I believe there's just like skin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah, can you talk about those different programs, how that works? I mean, it's kind of thoughtless, right? You just tell it what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's nice too is your impulse sauna is special. It's called our smart sauna for a reason. It's the only one that has customizable programs, first of all. So you listed some of the ones that are already in the system within that touchscreen. But we also have the ability to customize it for whatever you want to do. If you only want near infrared or you're just wanting the far infrared at high heat, you can change that around. But what we did is we looked at a bunch of studies that kind of pointed to these different health benefits. So you mentioned relaxation, I think. We then dialed it in so that we're delivering the optimal wavelengths, and the program runs for the optimal amount of time. So you can just get in, set it and forget it. I mean, you're just in there. Maybe you had a bad day at work and you're stressed. And the last thing you want to do is um, add to your stress with family life. Even you can shut that door, put on that relaxation program and step away and be to yourself. So with those heat levels, that's another nice part too, is you can vary the heat, but with the programs it just sets it so you're getting that same experience every single time. The skin, you talked about that one focuses a lot on near infrared. And now, too, with our smart saunas, they also have red light therapy in them. And so the red and the near do a really great job of activating the benefits for your skin. The elastin, I still recall the first time I was at Sunlighten, I got in an impulse sauna, tried it out, had no idea what I was doing in it. But as soon as I got out, I was like, wow, that was great. And I felt my face and I was like, oh my gosh, my skin is just so soft. And that was a benefit I was not expecting at all, but that's just the power of infrared. So with each of those programs, you're getting a different wavelength, a different duration of the session. So it is nice for you to mentally say, I'm in here to detox. I'm in here to relax. I'm in here for cardio, because then your body's listening to your thoughts and then doing what it needs to get those benefits.
All connected. I
Yeah.
was also, I was telling my parents because my dad had a triple bypass. It's been a couple of years now, and he's Mr. Like, if the doctor tells him what to do, he'll do it. But heart health was one that was big on my list and exciting for me to see on there. So, can you talk a little bit about that, like heart health? I mean, there's a program for it. So, how does
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah. So with heart health, to me, that's besides detoxification, that's one of the top benefits because for us to live long, healthy lives, we need our heart working for us. I mean, it's nonstop. So it's going through a lot, and the more we can do to support it, the better. So even people that can't really get out and exercise, it is important for them to still get that raise in heart rate. So when you're in a sauna, your heart rate goes up, and it's basically like a passive cardio workout. So that is one huge piece. Blood pressure is another part. So as you're in there, the blood pressure as you get out can be reduced. And in fact, we've even had some studies that are heart related with our actual product. And Connie and Aaron Zach, they're the co-founders, um, just amazing people. But when they were first hearing about infrared technology, the studies out in Japan, everything was based around the heart. And so when you have a product that can help with that, it's like you have got to focus on that for just everybody. That's why I always say anybody can benefit from a sauna, because if you're able to help your heart, then you're most likely going to expand your life and just happiness with everybody.
Absolutely. I think the other person who I'm really excited to be able to use this is my son. So, as far as children go, he's 11 years old. He's very like active in competitive baseball. It's kind of like year round, constant. He's a catcher most of the time. And so he's sore and he's got to do this for days on end. I don't know how he does it. But can you speak a little bit to like the little ones and then maybe some sports recovery as well?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the exciting thing is kids and people just younger are able to use saunas. As with anything, you should be just mindful of the time that you're in there. And we generally say, as a rule of thumb, about a minute per age. So if he's in there 11 minutes or so, like building up to that, totally fine. But it's a great way for kids to learn about their bodies. I mean, if you're in tune with your body and how you're feeling, if you're like, oh gosh, I'm getting overheated, and you can start that at a young age, then that just compounds over time. And so then you're really going to know how your body, what it's telling you. So for kids, it's the mid infrared that can kind of help with inflammation. So as far as recovery goes, that is one thing to keep in mind, is that mid infrared. So some of those sessions are going to include that. But just with far infrared too, the detoxification, that really ties into just about everything. Because no matter what you're doing, our everyday lives, we're getting toxins in our body. So we've got to get rid of them so that we can operate at the best level that we can, you know? So even a child has toxins in them. And so if he can get rid of those
Yeah,
toxins,
my kids who love all the crap they can get their hands on. We never have it in the house, but they find it somehow.
yeah. Well, and then too, it's just a reminder that infrared is not dangerous. It's safe, it's natural. So some people kind of get that in their head of like, gosh, I should be wary of this. No, it's the healthy healing parts of the sun.
So, I mean, I love that this is probably one of the greatest because I speak a lot and share a lot of products that are centered on that foundational health. And so I, basically, this is one of the greatest foundational health tools that you can kind of add to your arsenal. Would you say that's right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the detox, as I spoke about, it's going to boost immunity. It's going to enhance skin. It's going to help with sleep. That's one of those things that people are more aware of. Like, oh gosh, I definitely slept better last night, you know, versus like, how's your immune system doing? Is it better? It's like, well, that's hard to quantify, but if you've had that great night's sleep, especially after sauna, and you can use your apps like an Aura Ring or a Whoop Band to see your sleep levels and then associate it with those nights that you saunaed, then I mean, gosh, that's just such a big win. And sleep plays a role in our health in so many ways. We're not going to be able to operate at optimal levels if we're not sleeping well. And so, for this tool to help with that, again, with the heart, brain function, I mean, energy levels, mitochondria, then that to me is foundational. And like you said, it's definitely one of the best tools for that.
Yeah, you mentioned mitochondria, and before we started recording, I was kind of saying, gut health is another area that I like to focus on a lot. And obviously, it's more than just taking probiotics, and it is really going to be mostly impacted by this foundational health. So, can you just speak to a little bit of that mitochondrial boost that you spoke of? I know that it's really impactful. This is a loaded topic, so I will not make you give us a total science lesson.
Right.
But if you could just touch on that really quick.
Sure. Well, mitochondria, I mean, speaking of science lessons, that is one of the things that oddly sticks in most people's heads is the powerhouse of the cell. They create ATP, produce ATP, which is energy for the body. And so gut health, I mean, that's where taking a step aside to think about gut health, inflammation is reduced within saunas, and gut health has a lot to do with inflammation. So if you can battle that, that's one key. But then to blood flow. So thinking again about heart health, all things deal with blood flow. So within your gut, if your blood is moving as it should, you're going to be able to digest better and really just optimize that gut health. So moving back then to just the mitochondria, infrared light, as we said, we're a solar panel. So we've been designed to take in this light, receive that light energy. And so each wavelength interacts a little bit differently with the mitochondria, but red light and then near infrared have the most effect on mitochondria and that increased ATP production, which then translates to energy. And again, all those systems require energy. It's incredible how many mitochondria we have in our body. And it just blows my mind. Like, yes, we could really dive into this, but it's wild.
So then, again, I know it's listed as one of the benefits, but it's all so interconnected, and we have this gut brain axis. So now you're not only improving brain function, you're just through everything that you just mentioned, on top of what other impacts the sauna can have, your mood, stress levels. I mean, we know that gut health impacts that, but then also we have the added benefits of the different components of the sauna that's also going to help with these things. Is that right? Am I just like making things up?
Yeah, no, that's an important one is kind of the mood and stress levels. Because again, we've got all the toxins in our environment and then the stress. Like we're all just wired now to go, go, go. And we don't take that time to take a step back and allow ourselves to heal, So a lot of people will say like they could go into the sauna just not feeling good at all and come out just a different person because they took that time. The warmth itself is great for you. I mean, there's even studies about depression out there that a single session can just have massive effects on the depression symptoms, and it's long lasting too. And those are ongoing studies. So as much as we've talked about, like that's what we know, but what's really exciting is what's out there and what's to come. I mean, it's endless what we're going to find. The more that people are using these saunas, the more that we're able to fund these studies. It's going to be really exciting to see the future of infrared.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so one thing that I noticed, and I think is pretty normal, but it's funny because a lot of times I'll hear people say, I didn't even sweat. And the first couple times that I got in, I was like, I didn't even sweat. I don't know, like that was neat, that was fun, but I'm not sweaty. And then as I go more and more, I'm like beat it up, and I'm like, whoa, dude, where'd all this come from? So, I mean, can you explain that just a little bit?
Yeah, so sometimes that has to do with toxins that are in your body. Maybe we're kind of just blocked up and we're not able to activate the systems that are going to allow ourselves to sweat. But then it's just acclimation. You have to kind of get used to that environment of the high heat. And then your body is learning better and better, like, okay, it's hot. This is that different kind of heat. And the nice thing too is you don't have to sweat to be getting these benefits. When we're talking solar panel and light, um, Dr. Michael Hamblin, he's one of the top experts on infrared just in the world. A lot of the studies that we use on our website, which if anyone during the show, go visit our website. We have incredible content about all this stuff, nice blogs in the Lotus Life library to read up on all sorts of stuff, personal stories. But Hamblin is talking about getting in the sauna at these lower temperatures because that's the optimal way to absorb the light. So the hotter it gets, we don't absorb quite as much. And that's kind of where with traditional saunas, you're not getting as much. So yes, you may not sweat right away, and it kind of does build up. But as you talked, it's like it's beating up. I mean, that's one thing. I get in and I just sweat. And so another little tip too is if you do have that issue where you're like, gosh, I just want to sweat more, do a little hit workout before you get in. Even just do like 5 minutes of jumping jacks, sit-ups, that kind of thing. Get your blood temperature going and or get your uh, body temperature up a little bit more so that as you get in, you want to get in 30, 40 minutes and build from there. And oftentimes it's like that 40-minute time limit or time zone that you're like, that's when the magic happens. That's when the sweat is hitting you the most. And that's when that gentle stress of hormesis is really kicking in and your system is like, cool down, do all the things. And kind of when the magic happens.
Yeah, I felt like I had like achieved something when I started sweating tons.
That's
It
nice.
does feel good, but I was told, and I did know that there were still the benefits prior to that. And like I said, I'd kind of learned that your body might either need to learn how to start to detoxify like this or just get acclimated to it. So here's the thing. I feel like when it comes to infrared saunas, it's almost like a political argument these days for those who are trying to figure out what's best, the different ones people have. So and so has this and that. So, like I said, I had done a lot of research. I love research. I had talked to a lot of people. Your company has just incredible customer service and warranties and all of that. Not to mention that you guys, I'm not even kidding you. My husband put off putting this thing together for so long because he thought it was going to be the world's hardest thing in the world. And the world's hardest thing in the world. That's how hard it took. Like, I don't even know, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, mostly because we were trying to figure out what direction we wanted it.
Yeah.
But it was so easy. I was like, see, do you see how long we could have had this together? So, why Sunlighten? Talk to us a little bit about why it is, how it stands out. Um, there are other companies to look at and choose from. What should people really be focusing on? And, what should they be sure to avoid, I guess, as well?
Yeah. Great call outs there across the board. Starting out, I mean, this is our 25th anniversary. So we've been in it for the long haul. I mean, we have been improving and innovating since day one. So we've got the quality down, talking about the quality of the wood itself and the seats and everything. But even the heating technology, our patented heating technology is delivering that optimal wavelength. So you're not just sitting in a warm, pretty box. You are receiving that light and you're getting those optimal levels. I mean, it's similar to when you're out shopping for supplements. I mean, you want to get the supplement that's going to be best absorbed into your body. And that's essentially what our products are. There's no fillers. It's an investment in your health. It is a premium product, but my gosh, if this is the body that I'm living in for the rest of my life, I want to spend some good money to make myself feel better. And with saunas too, you can bring other people in. It's not like a Whoop band or an Oura ring, like I mentioned before. That's only for yourself. You can have friends over, like especially yours. Have a girlfriend come over and just hang out and chat, or like your children too. So those are definitely the heater quality. But too, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the team behind everything. Our experts, our sauna specialists, they're going to talk with you and listen to everything that you have to say. They're not here to just sell you the biggest sauna that we own to make some money. They're here to listen to your needs, hear about your health history, and then talk you through what's going to be best for you. And then as well, I mean, our customer care team, they're very knowledgeable. They're willing to help. Huge shout out to them too, because things can and will go wrong, but we're here to make it right and fix it. And so I've heard endless stories as well of just people 12, 14 years into their same sauna. And they're like, my gosh, you guys just made such a great product. So it's a long lasting um, just tool to have. So invest in something that you know is going to work and that you know is going to be safe for you. So infrared, like we said, it's safe. But what can happen sometimes too is people will build these with glue or coatings on the wood that off gas. So if you're trying to detoxify yourself, you don't want to be exposed to anything extra. So definitely make sure you're researching what the woods are made out of. We actually use a magnet technology to hold the walls together as you're assembling them. And so that gets rid of the necessity of glue and that kind of thing. But really just do the research. We've got our website really lists some nice things. As far as safety goes to EMFs, that's a big concern for a lot of people. We have done the work to mitigate that ultra low EMF so you can feel safe that even though it is an electrical box kind of that you're sitting in, we've done the work to make sure that you're sitting happy and safe, and so then it's good for you and your friends and loved ones.
I'd like to also note that I can watch Netflix in mine.
Yes. Yeah. So that touchscreen, it's got the capability to do that. And then each of our saunas, they come with the chromotherapy lights. So that's the kind of mood lighting. It's not necessarily the same as red light therapy. It's a lower power density, but it's definitely enhanced. Like each different color can do different things. And so that's a neat add-on that's just custom across the board. So no matter which sauna you get, even our solo sauna, it's going to have that. And then as well, they all have the sound systems. So you can just link up Bluetooth, play your favorite podcast, do all of those things. And again, too, it's the options. Like with Sunlighten, we have our Amplify sauna. So we've talked about, okay, you don't necessarily need that high heat. Well, the Amplify does have additional heaters that provide the full spectrum experience, but then it amplifies the heat. So you can get a little more flexibility in your sessions, get kind of closer to that traditional sauna. We also have the Signature. The Amplify and Signature both are very simple for the controls. You can go turn them on, off, temperature, time, that kind of thing. And then actually the sauna that I have at home is our Solo. So as I got to Sunlight, and I was like, I need a cabin sauna. These things are amazing. But my home, it's an older home and a really narrow stairways. So I was like, well, I don't think I can fit it upstairs or downstairs. I'm not really up for putting it in my living room. So
It
solo
is
it is.
pretty though. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty, and you just lay there and feel good. I mean, I originally was like, okay, I'm going to meditate, do all these great things, but half the time, what I do is just roll out of bed, let the dog out, have my sauna turned on so that it's preheating, and then by the time I come back, I basically go back to bed in my solo because it's just super comfortable. And what's great too, it's the same heating technology in that portable unit that's in our cabin saunas. Because a lot of the portable ones out there, it's just not the same. It's not the right frequency. It's not going to get absorbed into your body. So I love my solo, and I think I'm going to keep it forever.
I love that. And so that one just kind of lays on the ground. Is that right?
Yep.
And
So
you're
it lays
able
on the
to,
ground. Yeah, and then you can even pack it up and put it off to the side. So we keep it in our spare room. Right now, it's in my office because it's kind of our sunroom. So it's like, okay, I'm getting all the light therapy. I've got the sunshine on my face. I've got the infrared going. It really feels like I'm at the beach.
while we're discussing finding space, my house is kind of the same. And we focused a lot in building our house on like putting all of the square footage in like the living space, right? So while my
Hmm.
room is nice size, we could technically fit it in there. What we ended up doing was putting it right outside and under a cover, and it has the specific cover. So I had to get
Yeah.
the right kind of wood for that. And we have taken like extra care to keep it covered by, we got like a cabana type thing. But it is possible to have one of these outside or to say put it in your garage or something, where it doesn't necessarily have to be right in the middle of your living room. Is that right?
Yep,
Hopefully.
absolutely. Exactly. And you nailed it too with the wood type. That's important. It's the eucalyptus wood that's going to be best for that. So our saunas, we have a couple options. There's basswood, which is a nice white blonde wood. And then the eucalyptus, and the Impulse also has a cedar interior that is pretty nice because it's very much like the medium brown of the eucalyptus, but it has that cedar scent. But you can definitely put it outside. It does need that cover because then you're going to keep your warranty intact. You're going to protect it from the elements because weather's unpredictable. I mean, LA right now, it's rainy all the time. And if it's not protected, that wind blowing in, I mean, you just want to keep it safe. And that's what those covers can do. And with the extra cover above it as well, that's even better. Garages are very, very popular. The only thing I would keep in mind is when it's outside, you don't have as much control of the ambient temperatures. So on those colder mornings and colder days, it does take a bit longer to heat up. But other than that, if it's the only option, then yeah, put it outside, get a cover, and go for it.
How do you set yours to heat in the morning?
How do I set it to heat?
Is there a
Um,
timer?
Yes. So mine, with the Solo, you turn it on, and there's controls for the top portion and the bottom portion. So I actually don't even turn it all the way up. So I put it at about a 6 or 7 most days, which is, I believe, like 120 degrees. Um, and then you put the timer on. So I'll put it on for 45 minutes, maybe 50. And like I said, I'll go down, let the dog out, and then come back. And the thing too to remember as you're sauning, it's like just make time and get it in. You don't have to make sure you get that ideal 40, 45 minutes. If you have 30 minutes, amazing. If you have 20 minutes, great. Just get in and do it.
Okay, I have a stupid question that I should know the answer to, but are you able to like set it like, the coffee maker to start heating at a certain time so that it's ready for you?
So the Solo does not have that option, but the other saunas, yes. So you can schedule it, and like you said, just have it ready for you first thing in the morning so that you can step in and it's nice and warm. That is a very nice perk of
Yeah.
our saunas.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I know I could sit here and ask you a million more questions. I appreciate you so much because, I want to be able to promote these as best I can because I just think the world of the company, of the sauna itself, my experience all around. But I also, it was really important to me, as always, to make sure that everyone had the information that they need to be able to make, the best decision for themselves.
Yeah.
Is there like a limit to can I go in this twice a day?
You could, I mean, theoretically, but you just have to be ready for it. I mean, it's like with marathon runners, they're out there running 50 miles a day, like those extreme runners, and it's like their bodies are prepared for that. So yeah, you totally could. I mean, I've definitely done it myself. We just went through an incredible cold snap here in Kansas City, and I'm like, I need to feel
I'm
warm.
just gonna live
I've
in
been
it.
stuck inside. I need light. But regular use, that's the best main thing that you can do. Do it all the time. Obviously, there are best practices. Keep yourself hydrated. As we talk detox, that's getting the bad things out, but you're also sweating out good things like electrolytes. So keeping yourself hydrated and with the necessary electrolytes. But regular use, I mean, that's where all the studies show the best benefits happen when you actually use it. And that's why it's important too. I mean, these saunas are at gyms and all across the country. That's great. But when you can make this a healthy habit that you're going to keep and it's in your home, you walk by it every day, you're much more likely to actually use it. So that's obviously not everybody has the time, and maybe they're not even at home all the time. But if you can do it every single day or as close to that as possible, then that's when the best things will come.
I love it. Well, it's like a great little hiding space for me, and it's beautiful. Like I love that part a lot. I'm not gonna say the most, but it's beautiful. It's so, I don't know. I feel like I have a resort in my backyard. People are always like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, exactly.
fancy."
And that's what's fun. Like when we go to trade shows, not often do you get to stand next to your product and talk about it. You know, a lot of our sales are over the phone. People just get to see it on the internet. But when they actually get to see it, sit inside it, touch it, feel it, like it's a luxury product. It looks nice. Like people want them in their homes. You know, it's not that ugly little phone box in the corner. Like this is a nice, great piece of equipment to have in your house. So
Yeah,
you nailed it. I want to go check out your backyard because
I'll send you
that
pictures.
perfect.
Everybody can you can check it out in the stories and stuff. It'll be in highlights. Loving getting to share these products. I appreciate you for trusting me with sharing them with everybody. I'm very excited because health and wellness and safety and clean living, all of that is so much a part of what I want to help people with. And I know that this is just going to help amplify that and help people in so many ways. Thank you for taking the time
Yeah.
and just being so freaking smart. I mean,
Well, thank you. And one last thing before we go too, don't forget your audience gets a nice discount as well. So
that
I'm
is
sure
important.
we'll get some links in the description of the podcast, but it's up to $600 off your sauna purchase.
You're
So
welcome. Everybody
yeah,
is welcome.
exactly. So again, reach out. We're happy to help with any questions. Visit the website, start doing some learning, check out her reels, and just dig into some of these topics that we're talking about today, and just make this an investment that works for you. It's not going to be one you regret.
At all. At all. Thank you so much, Vic. I hope you have a
Yeah,
wonderful weekend. I hope that you are cheering for Taylor Swift.
we are. I said Kansas City, so we are very much cheering for Taylor and her boyfriend for sure.
I love it. My whole family hates me right now, except for my daughter. She's on team mom and Taylor. I
That's
love it.
awesome.
I love it. Have a great weekend. Have a great
Thanks,
Super Bowl
Katie.
Sunday. Thank you again. And yeah, you guys have questions, hit me up. Check my stories, check the links in the bio, and you're gonna love this. You're gonna love it. All right.
Thank you. Bye.